Good evening, School Board of Education. I am joined this evening with Principal Renee Coleman from Sun Prairie East High School. And this evening, we are presenting to the Board of Education the equity update on the Historically Black College and Universities Tour and the District Black History Month celebrations. Tonight's agenda will include introductions that I've already shared, history of HBCUs, benefits of HBCUs, the purpose of the Route East Coast Tour, tour participants, tour locations, next steps. I'll also add some of the Black History Month events that are happening across our system for the 2024 Black History Month celebrations, and then we'll end with gratitude. The Sun Prairie Area School District core values and commitments are shared here. In this slide, I want to lift up the importance of equity and how we work to embrace our commitment to equity and our commitment to providing resources aligned to students' needs so that every child can thrive. I also want to highlight the importance of relationships and how we work to embrace positive and strong partnerships with students, staff, parents, and caregivers. Both of these core values and commitments are gleaned through this Historically Black College Tour experience. Our district strategic framework that began in 2022 that lives through 2027 is designed with three pillars. The pillar culture of educational excellence, both goals, the student experience goal, as well as the goal of student learning environmental goal. I want to highlight these are two identified goals under the strategic framework of culture of educational excellence and student experience, which both speak to students having exceptional experiences, active participation, and multiple opportunities to demonstrate their learning. Throughout this presentation, you will hear and see evidence of how this goal has been met for the students who participated in the HBCU trip. The second goal, student learning environment, speaks to the establishment of conditions where every child feels seen, welcome, and able to learn through active participation in the Black Student Union. 10th through 12th grade students who are members of BSU have had the opportunity to attend the HBCU trip. In particular, our African American, Black, and Brown students who are able to achieve this goal. Our equity framework, our Board of Education drives the district's equity framework. The district's equity framework boldly acknowledges that our commitment to changing foundational inequities that exist within our school system. The Historically Black College University trip promotes college and career readiness, aspirations, and possibilities. Many students who attend come back motivated and encouraged and more determined to seek college as a real possibility. I am now going to turn it over to Principal Renee Coleman to share more on why HBCUs and the overall student experience is important in our system.
Thank you again, school board members, allowing me to come and present our second trip to HBCU trip. We did restore our outlooks towards success on the East Coast version of our trip. Our first trip was more down south, and this one was definitely an East Coast experience for our students. Tonight, I want to start off with talking about the history of HBCUs. I'm very passionate as an alumnus and having students who also attended HBCU schools to really help our students as they attended these events and also the HBCU campuses to really understand the history of HBCUs. It was a very big wave of culture and also the wave of African American education after the Civil War that began to flourish and have all of these opportunities for our Black students to get into higher education. Because prior to that, we know that there was very few opportunities for them to engage in higher learning. We had our Black ministers and our white philanthropists come together across the South to educate our free slaves. Most colleges and universities are originally founded to educate students of African American descent. There's now more than 100 HBCUs that are still open and operating to serve our students today. The very first HBCU is in Cheyney University of Pennsylvania on February 25th, 1837, and that most of those schools in the beginning, when they were first open, was to really address the need of agriculture and also provide skilled labor, which is our secretarial pool work. There are so many benefits of HBCUs, but I really want to just highlight a few. One is that it accepts all students of all races and ethnicities. In fact, 24% of students who attend an HBCU are non-Black. So we want to really highlight that. Most of our students were just amazed when we attended campuses because the thought is, oh, I'm going to only a Black school, and it is mostly engaged and celebrated for our Black and African American culture, but there's also the diversity. Even though it is slight, there is some diversity of students who are non-Black who attend those schools. They also offer exceptional academic opportunities for all students of all races. African American and Black students who attend HBCUs report that it's just a better support system. We saw that in most of our smaller schools of how they have really embraced making sure that once students enter their campus, they have a whole student experience. And so we've noticed that as we're attending more schools and students are getting more involvement and more exposure, that there is a system that's in place that's not necessarily in place with our traditional institutions. And also students who attend have a higher level of financial wellness after attending those HBCU schools because they have this network that helps them build not only their confidence, their skill levels, but also networking. And so that has really been a factor, especially in our HBCU students now, is that they have that connection and that the alumni network is so strong that they help those students after graduation. Purpose of our tour. This is my second year, so I thank you for this opportunity to help me complete a passion that I have about getting as many students to our historically Black colleges. But we were able to explore another set of schools on the East Coast, which has been really interesting as far as how their creation happened, who established those historically college and universities. We also engaged in a few museums, and we were able to do more sightseeing with the Martin Luther King site that was in DC. We also attended the African American Heritage Museum that was in DC that helped us complete some of our historical knowledge. Also, we got to experience more Black culture and really understand when we attended those museums, how they really shaped our society. And then we also been able to get a different perspective because East Coast is definitely a little different than our South. And we got a different opportunity to talk with different alumni, different admission counselors, and also students. So those students were able to get a different perspective. And also I'm just really encouraging on how we can make sure that we are restoring all students, especially our Black and Brown students, on their outlook towards success. And so that is the purpose of these tours. And I will, if you will so gracefully ask me, continue to do so. Right, so as Dr. Morgan has said, we did have 10th to 12th grade students. We increased it from 10th, and allowing 10th graders to attend. When we were attending the very first year, we heard a lot of like, gotta have your GPA up. You have to have an opportunity to make sure students are engaged in the work. And so we know 12th grade is kind of last minute. We know 11th grade may be even last minute, but 10th graders, we wanted them to see, hey, this is an important opportunity. Make sure your GPAs are up, really start focusing on clubs, narrowing down interest, and being able to, for them to firsthand see that opportunity. Also, in order to participate on the tour, you had to have good attendance during the months of September and October. And we didn't really focus on grades because that's really when school first started, but we wanted to make sure that they were attending classes because the trip is a week long and it pulls them out of their classes. And we felt like if they are going to classes, then the makeup process wouldn't be so cumbersome. Also, we asked for our students to be an active member of BSU, have college-bound mentality, not necessarily have to, be open-minded because we are going to different places and that their mind is being exposed to different opportunities and being engaged in the learning, and then willing to learn and participate in the learning. So these are the places that we went to. We went to Central State University, which is in Ohio. warm. They were very warm campus. Would love to share some of the videos that they've made. The tour guides were amazing there. We say kudos to them. Coppin University is a smaller university. We wasn't able to go to Morgan State because of the incident that happened prior to our tour. Coppin University fulfilled that need for us to see a Maryland school. They were wonderful. They're smaller, so students got an opportunity to see a smaller school and understand the difference of a larger school, middle school, and smaller school. We went to Howard University. I shout out my daughter who was our tour guide. It was Washington, D.C. A lot of people didn't realize that that school was in the heart of the city. And it was an opportunity to say, is that what I want, an urban environment? So that was a great opportunity at Howard University. We got to see a lot of the campus. They had just experienced homecoming. So some of those remnants were still available for them to see. We went to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C., and I think that was the most rewarding experience to see students' face as we're passing exhibits. We start at the basement and you work your way up, and just seeing the time capsule happen in the reality. Many of them turned around and said, "Is this real?" And I'm like, "This is your history. Embrace it, and it's okay if it's too overwhelming, but this is your history." We had a walking tour to the MLK site. Our children needs to stop and learn how to walk a little more because it was only a mile away and we had a lot of disgruntled walkers. But once they were at the site, it was an amazing event, and I was glad to have that opportunity to share with them. We went to North Carolina A&T. There was a wonderful experience. We got to talk to a lot of students about their experience, and it was really great to see that there are more students who's coming from the Midwest. You would think it would just only be East Coast and maybe some of our Southern state colleagues, but nope. We're coming from the Midwest, and they're trying to really recruit in that environment because they're seeing not a lot of students come because Central State snaps them all. We did a visit at International Civil Rights Museum, was very connected to North Carolina A&T. If you go back to the screen before that, when you see us taking a photo with those three guys in front of there, they are the primary people who were involved in the civil rights movement. If you look at the bottom of this screen, it's talking about the Woolworth Company, and they were major contributors, organizers of sitting at the lunchroom counter. So we was able to get the history of North Carolina and make the connections in our visit in the International Civil Rights Museum. And lastly, we rounded off at the National Underground Museum in Ohio. And all of those experiences had different impacts for our students, and it was a great opportunity to explore those. So next steps, I've been advocating for us to get to HBCU schools, but I also want to continue to make that connection. And one of those is to have an upcoming free application for federal student aid. It just opened up in January. There's been rumors that it's a disaster and they're still trying to figure it out, but I still want our students, especially our 11th graders, to at least understand the process so that when it's their turn to really actually complete that process, they have a little bit more information. Also, scholarship application support night in the spring sometime. Our African American students, Black students, is a little different than the normal scholarships that we post on our websites. We have to get that information to them early because in the summertime, there's mostly some scholarships that's available. And by the time we get students back from our summer vacation, those application deadlines have already passed. So giving them the information, helping them find the places to go out and actually apply for scholarships is what the intent of that night would be, included while they fill out their free application for federal student aid. Also, for the 2024-2025, we are adding, an HBCU college acceptance event. We want to celebrate our future alumni in these wonderful HBCU establishments. And so we want to take an opportunity to create an event to establish a celebratory way of saying, yes, we're here to support you and that you're not alone.
And I want to, before closing, I just want to extend gratitude. I want to take, and while Principal Coleman can catch her breath, I want to just express gratitude first to American Family Insurance Company. American Family, we would not be able to provide this opportunity to 50 students and give them this really wonderful experience if it were not for the financial support from American Family. So gratitude to American Family. Also to the school board, to the Board of Educations, thank you for recognizing the importance of our equity framework and recognizing and being bold around the need to stand behind our Black and Brown students. That helps to inspire our behind the scenes work and planning, and it really removes barriers, systemic barriers that makes it difficult for us to really actualize experiences like this. So thank you to the Board of Education for seeing this as an important initiative in the Sun Prairie Area School District. Our district leaders, the administrators that work behind the scene to really make sure that the supports are in place to ensure that this trip was a possibility. Also, the principals from all three high schools, Principal Coleman, her second year serving as the process lead, the planning, the mother of 50 plus students while they are away on this trip. And then the other principals I want to acknowledge, Principal Nicole Scunier from Prairie Phoenix Academy and Principal Pluger. On this trip, we had student representation from all three of our high schools, and our principals played an integral role in ensuring that our students were able to be a part of those meetings, those conversations. To the chaperones, Priscilla Gardner, Felix Gibney, Mr. Reginald Williams, and Ms. Ayana Hale, who all, along with Renee Coleman, spent the week away from their own families to make sure that our students had caregivers away from home to enjoy this experience with them. And then also to our parents and caregivers who were generous and made donations. Our students traveled by way of coach bus, and teenagers get hungry along the trip. And so they were able to save some money, I hope, by the generosity of parents and caregivers who donated snacks for the trip. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge my partner in this work, and that's Robin Rake. And Robin played a very important role in making sure that all of the vision and wants and needs were met. All of the technical things that were needed for this trip were done. And so Principal Coleman, who helped to organize planning meetings, helped to make reservations, the investigation, the exploring, the research of the universities and the historically the historical monuments that were visited that also needed to have cultural impact on our students. And so the parent caregiver meetings, all the way to the send-off dinner the night before the trip, and then the final send-off. So to everyone who played a role, and especially to you, Principal Renee Coleman, I want to give you your flowers today by acknowledging your leadership in this work. And again, thank you to the school board and everyone who helped to make this trip a possibility. And so that concludes our historically Black college equity update. I do want to just highlight, if I may, some of the events that we have that either have happened or are in the process of happening this month to elevate the celebration of Black History Month. And I just want to name, on February 5th, we had a guest speaker, Chris Godzilla Taylor, who came and spoke at both Sun Prairie East and Sun Prairie West High School. On February 8th, we had performances by our very own Marcus Porter, who is the Hip Hop Studios instructor at all three of our high schools. He and MC Juicy Monroe, local from this area, Sun Prairie, performed at both Sun Prairie East and Sun Prairie West high schools. And if I may say, they had the crowd moving and shaking. The energy was high. I was able to visit over at Sun Prairie West High School and enjoy time with the students and see students really celebrate Black culture. On February 23rd, we have the Soul Food Dinner, which is going to be held at Sun Prairie East High School, and it's open to the community. And then we will commence on February 27th with the 50 Years of Hip Hop Gallery Walk at Prairie View Middle School, which is also open to the community. There are a host of other events and activities that have been celebrated and are scheduled to be celebrated throughout the month. And I ask that you reach out to your liaison school principal to learn more about what those events are. Some of those are for students and staff only, and then some are open to the public. I want to just thank you for giving us the time today to share on the HBCU trip and the events that are happening across our system to elevate and celebrate Black History Month. Thank you.